Okay, so today I'm doing my first stream in a while, first of all, period, because I have missed like 4 days in a row or something, which is unusual. The last couple weeks I've missed quite a few. Like I always have the habit and penchant of streaming every single day. Like I would always be very consistent with that. Like whenever, I quit streaming for a couple years, like 2019 to 2021. But when I did it before, I would do it like every single day. I would never miss a day. And even on this channel, I was pretty good about doing that for the most part. But then whatever, just lately and on and off, I missed a couple days, which doesn't seem like a big deal. But just for me, I always hate doing that. I always like doing it as a routine. Like if you're going to do it, it's like a good philosophy, right? Like compensate for ability with time. Like you just kind of either you do it a lot or you do it like in a consistent regular basis, or you sort of make yourself inevitable, or you kind of do it as a routine, right? Like that's where people sometimes undermine themselves, like, oh, you're passionate about something, right? Like you want to write a book or you want to do whatever, right? Play a sport. People will be like, oh, but I need the right racket and I need the right, perfect kind of circumstance to do it, and I need like the perfect tutor and this and that. It's like, no, if you want to do it, just do it. Like do an hour a day and just do it and then see what happens, right? That doesn't mean you'll be great. There's some sort of fallacy like, oh, if you spend 18 minutes every day at something, you'll be better than the average person or something. But that's just because they don't spend 18 minutes or whatever a day on it. But it's not like that. But it's like, do it as a routine, right? Just do it 1 hour a day. That could apply to chess in this context more so than even just streaming. But like, that's a good philosophy to have. Like if you want to do something, you're good at, be good at it, passionate about it. Don't look for like an immediate gratification, like, oh, you got to be good right away, or you have to. A telltale example of that would be actually in chess, right? Oh, if you're a genius, you should automatically be a 2000 player, which nobody ever in the history of the world has ever been that immediately at all, right? Magnus Carlsen was not a 2000 player for several years. Right, it's just that he started young, so it creates, like a lot of players do, it creates the impression of, did this guy just miss a fork? Like, what was that? How am I seeing that on the previous move, but these super gems aren't? But there's probably some new, oh no, that queen, no, that was there, whatever. But the point is that, yeah, so doing that as a routine is a good philosophy because, again, you do it every day and you're doing it just to do it, right? You're not doing it because, oh, oh, I'll do it if I make money from it, and if I don't in a short period of time, then I'll stop. Or I'm doing it, oh, if I'm not the best within a week or a month, then I'll stop. Like, don't do it like that. Do it sort of unconditionally, whatever it is, right? It could be playing a sport. It could be, chess. It could be streaming itself, writing, anything, right? Like write one page of your dream book, novel, whatever, a day, and then see where it goes. Because sometimes that was sort of an ideation that I have, like, oh, you got to do something perfectly, otherwise don't bother doing it at all, right? Like, oh, if you're not perfect and it's not the best possible, and I still sort of think like that, but if you can't do something absolutely perfectly, then don't even bother trying. Right, but then you'll never try, and then you'll never do it. You'll never do anything. So there's a middle ground of like, okay, just try, put yourself out there, make it a routine, and then eventually it might turn into something, or it might not. But at least then you're not expecting it to be like you're doing it just to do it. So that's sort of the cynical way that sometimes people look at it, like, oh, you're going to quit your job and become a streamer. That's a stupid thing to do, because even if you think, oh, it's good motivation and that'll, really make you try harder or something, you might do okay. It might even work out. It might not. It might take a while. Like, it shouldn't be so conditional that, oh, if I don't hit this goal within this time, then I'm going to stop. Or, I don't know. It just... I get that can be a motivating factor too, and sort of push you to do better, but you can't rely on that, right? And it's like, again, just do something as a passion, as a routine. Actually, this was one of my good quotes that I would do in all my writing streams in the past and stuff. I have like a million quotes. That's one thing I'm actually kind of annoyed about with some of the content I've done over the years. Like, I'm not even saying like anybody would steal it or care to do that, or that it's so good that it would be worth doing that, but I never like formally, have a way to it's almost like you need a Twitter or something. I never formally like saved them or collected them together in one place, right? I have the one channel that I made, the Court of Reason. This is like my debate format. So, and I never knew it was actually there was a book named that, but it has nothing to do with that. Obviously, it was just a debate format I did back in the day. But this is good because this is sort of storing a lot of my quotes. Like, I won't even look at these, but I just want to look at the titles, right? Some of them are like really good logical razors. Like, two of my favorite ones are "To be aware of it is not to be above it," like sort of the hypocrisy idea that that's a fallacy that people use a lot. Like, to be aware of it is not to be above it, as in, like, I always use the example, you know, you live in a big city and you say, oh, the air is polluted, and then people come back and say, well, you're still breathing the air. If you don't like it, stop breathing, right? You're a hypocrite for breathing the air, even and complaining about it at the same time, as if there's no nuance, where you can still be subject to the need to breathe, but you can still acknowledge that, okay, it's dirtier here than it is somewhere else, or, you know, you can still observe a flaw of a process while still being a part of the process. Like, so that's the fallacy. Again, just because you're aware of a flaw of it doesn't mean that you're above the need for, you know, like whatever it might be. Like, oh, this food is, you know, raw or tastes bad or something. Like, oh, but you're still eating it. You still eat food. Like, yeah, you might still need to eat food, but you can still be critical of it or have some reservation about it. Or there's an in-between nuance instead of just discrediting everybody all the time because, well, this thing applies to them too. Right, but it doesn't matter if it applies to them, you know, if they're pointing out an objective flaw. Yes, that's a flaw that applies to me and to others and to the process, and so we can address it or be aware of it and observe it, right? So that's the one. And then you cannot, this is to do with religion, or at least I used it in that context once. You cannot dissuade with reason what came about by desire. And you know, again, this is where they're sort of cataloged. I'm sure I have these, as some of these. To be aware of it is not to be above it, anti-fallacy. You cannot dissuade with the reason that these don't have very many views, but whatever. This at least shows you, you know, these are my old logical razors that I would do. I did make a Twitter actually for this too, I forgot. You cannot dissuade with the reason what came about by desire, which basically just means like, I could, you know, you could logically try to break down a religion and say, oh, this is, you know, debate the facts of it, the history of it, the technical, you know, aspects that people would say, you know, this prophet said this and did this at this time and this miracle and etc. But the reality is that it comes from a desire, in the sense that people don't believe because of logic and reason. People believed from thousands of years ago. People believed before we knew any, you know, a lot of the modern science that we know. Whatever's come about over thousands of years of history. People believed in pagan gods, you know, all these kind of other ones in the past. So what it indicates is that people desire to believe, people want to believe, and so it comes from that. So you can't use logic and reason to convince somebody not to believe, because that's not the basis on which, you know, the basis why they believe in the first place. They don't believe because of logic and reason. They believe because they want to, because it gives them comfort, because it gives them, you know, some closure. It gives them reinforcement, like, oh, the people we love are going to go to heaven, the people we hate are going to go to hell, you know, things like this. So it gives them comfort and peace of mind. And so therefore they're not, you know, it's a different criteria. So like, the reason why they believe is not because of logic and reason. So of course you can't use logic and reason to dissuade them of it, because that's not why they believe it in the first place, right? That you're using two separate criteria. You're expecting logic and reason to have effect, but when the basis is desire, it's not going to work. What would work is if you appeal to that same desire in a different way, like you say, well, we're going to give you everything you want, or we're going to give you every peace of mind, and technology, you know, can kind of overcompensate in that way to some degree. This is always why chess or similar games are good to do, like whatever, when you're not like super, don't have a ton of time or energy. It's good for me, like how you only need one button to play, and you know, you can just do it like that. So what I was doing, like I said, I missed a couple days of streaming just overall, but even before that I had done like about a week and a half or maybe 2 weeks of doing silent streams where I'm still streaming. I had a certain amount of time. Some of them are actually longer than, you know, obviously these are going to be shorter streams when I do it like this, but with commentary. But it's a situation where they were longer streams, but I wasn't talking. So I went through a few layers. I just, you know, was playing stuff, just not talking. So I was doing like chess where I was trying to play against the bots, or I think I did something else, either playing against the bots or I tried playing blindfold chess against either random people or even the computer. Then I tried playing against the bots. Then I did a lot of Hearthstone, just playing like one of my gimmick decks, Shaman Evolved gimmick deck. And then I did PvZ Heroes briefly. So I was doing all those, and I started off by doing, you know, like no commentary at all. And then or maybe I did the notepad from the beginning, but I did no commentary at all. I did the little notepad on the side where I was just sort of typing stuff out instead of doing commentary. Then I tried a TTS that sort of simulates my voice a little bit, like 11 Labs. It sort of tries to clone your voice, and so I was using that for a little bit, like where you type in something and then it'll say it out. So I did all those different layers of it, basically just to show that, like, okay, I'm willing to do that, but I won't do it with like something I've never played before, or like kind of a big deal. It was just sort of me mindlessly playing games like this or Hearthstone or something. It's kind of nice that, you know, those are longer sessions than I typically would be able to do, but obviously I don't like that kind of content either, where you're not giving proper commentary and doing it, you know, the right way. So I guess the good thing with this situation is that I didn't really have like a very important ongoing series. I had League of Legends. Actually, I was doing the permadeath hero gauntlet, where, you know, I play as every hero until I lose a game, then I can't play them anymore. When I run out, the series is over. But that wasn't like a committed series. You know, I can do it whenever I want. I just have to remember who I've lost with and who I haven't. But yeah, there was nothing like super serious. In fact, one thing came out in the last couple of days that I saw that makes no sense to me, that I hadn't heard about at all, is Oblivion Remastered. That wasn't talked about at all. Nobody even knew it was happening, or like, I swear, not that I really keep up with news and stuff a ton these days, but in fact I deliberately kind of keep myself in the dark, but that kind of came out of nowhere, and that'll awaken a whole new age of Oblivion memes that they'll probably play into, like with the whole stale NPC delivery or whatever it is that, you know, the whole Oblivion NPC memes with the lack of facial, I forget why that was such a big thing, like the lack of facial expressions, that people always look the same, or the voice acting is sometimes a little stale. I think it's mostly the facial expressions. They just sort of, but see, it's them actually overachieving in a way. What would a lot of other games do at that time in history, and RPGs do? They just wouldn't have voice acting at all. So Oblivion went out of its way and went above and beyond. This is like a telltale sign of how Bethesda does things. Like, their reach exceeds their grasp. Like, they try to do something over the top and like that nobody else is doing, make this really large, unbelievable, dynamic open world that's so ambitious, and then it has bugs and flaws. But it's like my old expression, I'd rather have a flawed masterpiece than a perfect mediocrity. Like, oh, I can make Call of Duty with a bunch of the same maps, and you're doing the same mechanics over and over, and you're doing the same, you know, maps over and over, and it's like, it might work very well and it might not have any bugs, but it's like your ambition is low. You're just trying to do the bare minimum, whatever, you know, within that confines. Whereas, oh, we're doing a super ambitious, super big open world with so much content, so much dynamic, you know, quests and everything going on. You know, and we're even voice acting every line every NPC says. So now we'll pick on, oh, but look how some of them are stale, and how a lot of the voice actors are overused, reused, and how you know, some of the dialogue and expressions are stale. There's no question that's true, and I'm not, you know, sort of simping or defending it. I'm just saying, like, the standard is so high because that was at a time, you know, 2006. That was, you know, I always compared it to classic WoW, actually, to say, like, you know, which game is better. And obviously classic WoW is better, but it's like, from a single player RPG standpoint, that is still impressive. So Yeah, that one kind of came out of nowhere. Yeah, I'll play the level 6 bot. This was one of the things I was doing on the muted sort of TTS or no commentary streams. And what it was is I was trying to go through every bot until I beat it, and I only get like one try per episode. So like if I would lose, then I would go play Hearthstone, you know, next, and then PvZ Heroes or whatever. But yeah, they're not really that impressive because again, I always kind of think it out like level 8 should be better than Magnus Carlsen, or at least as good as Magnus. This should be like as good as a GM or an IM. This should be as good as like a, you know, an FM or a, you know, 2200 FIDE player, at least 2000 plus FIDE. This should be, you know, 1700, 18 FIDE or whatever. The point is, I'm only 1700 on here on an inflated site. Level 6, I shouldn't be able to beat level 5. I'm not that good, right? Assuming level 8, even if level 8 is what could be the lowest expectation? It should at least be a grandmaster level. So like, if this is a grandmaster level, this is like a 2300, this is like a 2100, this is like a 1900. Like, I shouldn't be able to even beat that, so I don't even get it. But this one I lost to again. This should be getting more challenging, but it's not. I don't know. I don't feel that intimidated by them. Let's try to go for this. We fucking, you know, you get to the point where nothing, you know, like theatricality and deception are powerful agents, but nothing's gonna work against such a high level kind of opponent. You know, so that's the part of chess that can be sort of boring, is like anything that could be interesting or could work isn't going to work because they're going to be this seems kind of like a stupid move actually, but they block there, or they could do this and then we go back. Yeah, so kind of I always feel bad almost for the bot in a way that, like, when you have infinite time, I feel bad for using all of it. Like, I don't want to use it. You know, I could sit here for an hour and do this, but it feels sort of cheap to do that. So I feel bad. Even in like a normal game, I sometimes feel like that, where I don't know, you just kind of, you have the time, and if I really use it, there's no doubt I could do a lot better, but it feels kind of cheap to use it. But it's kind of the same principle of low level play. Like, oh, if you're not immediately a great player and you're not immediately 2000 plus and you're not immediately a grandmaster, then you must suck and just don't play it, and it's not meant to be, because you got to be this innate genius, even though that's not how the game works, and that's not how even the best players do it. It takes years, it takes you know, it takes years, it takes studying, it takes a lot of effort. So even for the best players, especially for the best players. So it's like, don't, that's really how I think too. It's not even like I'm saying this to other people, I'm saying this like for myself. Like, literally, that's how I would think. Oh, if you're not immediately great, then you just suck and it's not meant for you, because my standard is, you know, so unrealistically high in a certain sense. So it's a situation where I mean, that's gotta be the move, but it's not. Wait a second. If it wasn't for the knight, see, I could take, then if they take, then I take. But then it's also that, but it's also that. Yeah, like, you feel bad, like, oh, I must be an idiot that I'd have to take this long to calculate a move, or oh, that I'd have to study, like, oh, imagine studying a board game, like, all these kind of things that lead to a realization that, you know, you almost feel bad or embarrassed, but that's the way that it works. Like, that's what you would have to do, because of the simple fact that that's what you have to do no matter what. So you shouldn't feel bad or apprehensive about doing it. Yeah, we'll just play this game. I kind of did an extended intro to on purpose, but whatever. You know, I missed a couple of days of streaming. That's unusual for me. I did a couple of times without commentary, which I might still do once in a while, but it's a good trade-off that I get to play for longer periods of time. But you know, I do it in like kind of the scuffed way. I'll have the, oh, this is chess or Hearthstone, and then I have the text box TTS thing on the side, and then I have my chat in the middle, and it's like, you know, whenever it's a game that feels like sort of repetitive like that, that you could play, you know, for hundreds of hours and just, you know, kind of like chess or kind of like Hearthstone or whatever, where it doesn't feel committal. Like I wouldn't play, oh, let me play Oblivion Remastered like that. I would never do that, right? Or let me play some new game, right? I wouldn't do that I haven't played before or anything like that. I wouldn't do that, and the reason why is because it feels like you really want to give that more of a spotlight, attention, and so the Darkster Bishop's in a weird spot because I just can't. They would take, I would take, they would take, I would take, they would take. Yeah, blindfold sort of helps you calculate a little bit in terms of the, you know, this is kind of goofy, but it addresses kind of what they were doing, because even if they try to take, this is going to cover that adequately for a long period of time. You know, the nuance of the pawns is actually going to come into play, which makes no sense to me, but this could be a problem actually. The nuance of the pawns is going to actually be the difference in the game, right? Because this is how high level this play should be, which normally I complain like, oh, how can a 1500 rated player be this good or whatever, but I was even complaining the other way that, oh, how can a level 6 out of 8 be so bad if I'm so bad that I shouldn't have a chance? Like, this seems like a pretty evenly matched game still, and I'm not even this move seems pretty tough, because then you're really loading up on here, and it seems like I have adequate cover, but then they can kind of beat that out. So what if they do it, then they take, I take, and then they just take, right? Like, so what do I even do with that? I don't even know. This one is you know, that's just one of those throwaway type moves. Like, oh, I'm trying to do that to open the king. And as usual, the knight can be sort of a liability in the sense that I could move this now anywhere I want, although there is nowhere good to move it. And the reason why I could do that is because of the simple fact that I could then take that for free. So you kind of have free reign to move this wherever you want, which if it was a check or attacking the queen, it could be very good, but unfortunately it's not, because there's nothing I can actually do with it. Let's just try it in some form of a cheeky way that would allow me to try to take there. It's not gonna happen. This is good though, because it lets me at least move the queen a little bit, reorient the queen, and the reason why that's good is because I didn't want it to kind of really be there anyway. Or wait a second. Now here's where you, I mean, see, it's unusual for me not to have traded by now, but I still won't do it. And the reason why I won't do it is because you know, I should just do it. Now, this is interesting, but it's the check that would mess it up. Like, oh, I would take, they would take, I would take, but the check obviously ruins it, and so now I can't do that. And it's possible that, oh, you know what? Yeah, I knew something wasn't right with that, but now we're gonna lose something. But no, because like, oh no, he'll take this because he's double attacking, but I expected that to happen anyway. So it's not like a big deal, because so you get this. You could try to greedily cover that. But even if you cover it, it doesn't matter, because you can still take with impunity for free. So it's like, I don't know exactly. They take and then see I don't even mind that trade, but the only thing I don't like about that trade is the fact that um I leave them with a bishop pair, so even though okay dude, now I just get sloppy because this is dumb. Just dumb. I mean, I'm sure there's a million things you can do, just like okay. Like it's good, but it's not that good, right? If I really took my time, if it was a classical game, he's giving up a pawn, which means he must have a mating threat, coming in soon, which even that you could have taken seemingly. Wait a second, why not? You could take this. I don't know. I'm tempted to do it. I'm also attacking the rook. Must be something obvious I'm missing, but the thing is that it doesn't really matter to me too much. So this is a little bit odd. I don't know why he doesn't take that. Like here now, he could still take though. If he takes, I take. He takes. I mean, this is me just sort of baiting and almost fiending for trade. I can't. This is a perplexing thing. What about him taking this is a bad thing for him? Why wouldn't that be doable? I don't understand. I could take, then I could take, but it's not anything worth it. But yeah, I'm at a weird point, but it's also pretty open-ended. The one thing I feel like I'm missing out doing, well, there's two things I was trying to do that I have missed out on doing, is playing like delisted games before they go offline, right? I was trying to bring back that series, and then just because, once they're gone, and you can never play them again. And then number two is kind of like the new game first playthrough permadeath, which I've done in the past, obviously, but like every month I was trying to do a new game, and then I just sort of stopped. So November I did Slitterhead. So you do a first playthrough permadeath. If I die, the playthrough's over. No, December I did Indiana Jones. Not that I really beat them, but like Slitterhead I did like 2 episodes. I didn't die, so it's ongoing. I could still do it. Indiana Jones I did die, and so I made that sort of a hybrid format. Like I can try it as many times as I want, which is not really the essence of that format, but it's meant to be high stakes. Like I play a game for the first time, and if I die, it's over and I just can't play the game again for at least 6 months to a year or maybe ever. But the Indiana Jones one, I made a hybrid out of. Then January, I did Path of Exile, which I made sort of a different hybrid, kind of like what I do with MMOs, where like every class gets 1 life. So if I die as a class, I can't play them anymore, but I still get another try to, 1 try for every class. And then February I did Avowed, and then I died in the first episode there, so that's over. So then March I didn't do anything. April I haven't done nothing. Now obviously we're in May, so I missed 2 months, so I just can't keep up with that now. I mean, yeah, in the last couple weeks I haven't been doing anything at all, but it's like this is weird. You bring that down now. Now you're gonna tell me something here that is absolutely mind-boggling, and again, it's my desire to cover that and like just okay. I think that's relatively easy and simple to see, but the reality is that it doesn't matter because it's I'm just tunnel visioning on that, or I'm just not even like that doesn't take a high level player to see that move. So if I lose because of that, it's like. But then again, I would have had to do something weird anyway. But I don't care. I mean, there's nothing I can do. We get to at least undouble my pawns, I guess. But then it leaves my king sort of vulnerable too. Wait, so it'd only be -1 then. That actually wasn't too bad considering, but the whole overall position is kind of messed up. Yeah, see, this is hard because I get tired too. So, whatever. It doesn't have, I always like it to be at least an hour, but I can't even do it. Let's just try to finish this. I'm only -1, but I think the position would reflect much worse. You see, it comes down to the nuance of pawn movement, which again is not something you should expect to be the defining factor at a low level, which this is at least a moderate intermediate level. And then also the fact that I let, the trading that I did sort of suboptimally, that it's still even material technically, but the bishop is objectively better. Obviously, everybody always acknowledges. So now, because of that, you left them with a bishop pair and I don't have one. So now that turns into another situation where, you go there and then this is being hit. I mean, it definitely seems like my king is too open for now. For what I can do like this. You could attack me there, which is surprising that you would even do that. But yeah, I'll try to do these. This is the whole goal. Even if I do a relatively short session, it's okay, but I don't know. At this point, it starts to become kind of annoying. You have this, you have this. Okay. Alright, see, what I don't like, too, that I sort of set against maybe some of the bots on chess.com, or I didn't even lose to them though. I don't think, maybe one of them. The point is that the mistakes, or even when I play higher rated players, the mistakes that I make are not really high level. Like, oh, look at this 2000 player beat me because I blundered a piece. Like, that's the sort of thing anybody could see that and take advantage of that. So I'm not really playing to my potential and saying like, okay, I'm losing genuinely because they just did something I couldn't have possibly seen or figured out. But that's not even what it is, because it's working a little bit. But okay, so now I like these half asleep. Ever seen anybody half asleep play chess? Oh right, it's chess, as in like everybody would always be asleep. That's like a joke on a Hearthstone title that I use. The like, ever seen anybody half asleep play Hearthstone? Oh right, it's 2024, because it's so boring that that's obviously the state of it. Yeah, as much as I would like to do a longer period of time, it's just I can't. And so we lost to the bot. It was a decent game. I can't take anything away. Blunderful is like a word that I should almost trademark too, because I always used to say it and it's just such a catchy name word. And then I don't know, I've seen people really use it, but it's definitely mine. I even had an emote actually to go along with it. Like a new kind of ASMR, the half asleep ASMR, where it'll help you fall asleep too. It'll be contagious. But yeah, I was trying to do blindfold stuff, and then this comes down to I forgot. You have man, why does this take so long? It'll give you an idea of what level it's actually playing at. Like, how good was it really? Because it didn't feel that great. 40 cent upon 90% accuracy, 3 inaccuracies and 1 mistake. So again, I'm very similar, but those 2 mistakes happen to be kind of a big deal, in which you're just blundering a rook, and then you're, what did that one even do? Okay, see you tomorrow.